the quarterfinals of the WardiTV Team Liquid Map Contest Tournament number 8. Has been a fun event so far. And excited for the quarterfinals to start up here. So again, we're going to go kind of round 12, round of 8, round of 12, round of 8. It's a little bit of kind of back and forth action. But still, I mean, not really a big impact or anything, as we have got on the top left corner, the blue Terran player from Team Liquid. This is Clem. Up against the red Terran in the bottom right corner of the map is going to be our red Terran player from the Shopify Rebellion. This is ByuN. This should be a fairly fun series. I mean, you put ByuN and Clem together. I mean, you could probably describe Clem as as a European ByuN, or ByuN as a Korean Clem, right? I mean, these guys, they really have very similar playstyles. Aggression, these guys will go at each other's throats. They will attack, 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 and just not stop. And when you put two of those players together in a matchup like TvT, then it can become very fun very quickly, and it can really turn into a pretty wild time. So that's something we can absolutely be watching out for here in the series. As we already saw with Clem out on this right side, proxying up that initial barracks. So he's already going to get a little bit aggressive here to start out with. Let's see where this barracks will go. It's going to start a Reaper to begin with, and nothing really too weird about that. Pretty much what you would expect out of this to begin with, for sure. So pretty standard there early on. And yeah, Clem with one barracks back at home as well means he's got the 2-rack setup. This is a cool way to play defensively a little bit. You know, it can be defensive while also creating pressure on the map. It's a good little combination move. I always am a fan of the 2-rack Reaper, and it can spiral out of control as well. This is absolutely one of those matchups where, you know, this can go out of control. This can absolutely, you know, do too much right away, and you can just win the game off of it. So I like mixing it in, as we do see at least a delay on the natural, right? So the natural is going to be delayed if nothing else, so that's already a good start. And it's just going to be seeing that 2-Reaper still pinging at the CC, and that actually might have to be a cancel as well here. So ByuN looking as though he's already in a spot of bother early in the game. He's now going to come forward. He has the Hellion advantage because he has the faster factory, and he is going to win out the Reaper wall for the moment. Then the extra Reaper shows up, and this is going to be kind of even in trades, which I don't think really favors one player over the other for the most part. And yeah, ByuN is going to be ending up. Did he blow up his own Reaper? No, he didn't cancel his CC. Oh no, that's obviously not ideal. Sorry, I just had time to be admin in the other screen. I missed it. So he didn't cancel his CC. Sorry guys, I was again video start for a match that has to be played ahead of time, and I didn't see the lag cancel. Bad time for me to look away. Well, that's really bad. That's 400 minerals. Well, 300 minerals down the drain, right? That really sucks. That really sucks. Ah, yikes. Oh dear. Yeah, it's one of those things which is obviously it's bad. It's not game ending. It's obviously rough. Like, you know, 300 minerals is a lot at this stage of the game on this amount of workers. It's like I say, it's not insurmountable. It's not something we've never seen anyone come back from, but it's you know, much prefer to just have those extra minerals. You can start the CC again much sooner in that case. That obviously will help out a lot. So yeah, as we just see the Reaper Hellion at the front here from Clem, then in good numbers, still continuing to get established. And well, the Reaper's coming through, and immediately an SUV taking a few hits right there. So a few shots going down. A little bit of a counterattack from ByuN will maybe get him back into the work account game. So he got 3 kills so far. Now he's up to 4, and into the main base we go for number 5. Means a lot of low health SCVs here, and this is absolutely ByuN getting back into this, taking a huge worker lead. He's going to get 8 kills in the end. Oh, wow. Well, talk about bouncing back Clem with a horrendous defense against the Reapers, and suddenly he's down 7 workers. And ByuN does have his own CC moving out. Okay, it's not an orbital yet, but for the workers he's just killed, that's going to make up for that. So, ByuN is right back in the game. There you go, guys. You lose a CC. Yes, it sucks, but it doesn't end it. It definitely doesn't end it. And now we're going to see those Reapers all coming across down the bottom side of the map as well. So away they go. Going to join up with all of these Hellions. And just going to be seeing if Clem can keep up some pressure now. I mean, army supply isn't even in Clem's favor, though. So he doesn't have the worker lead. He doesn't have the army lead. What does Clem have? Does he have potential just to run in here like right now and make something happen? Is that his one opportunity? It very well might just be the one thing that he's got as he sits out here and waits for a chance. Marines dropping on the other side of the map, so ByuN's already being aggressive over in this direction, and he's going to get rid of a few more SCVs. Well, there's a Matrix, and that's obviously a big part of this. Having the Raven and being able to utilize that Raven is massive, as the tank on the ramp, though, is going to come in. Clem's going to lose his own tank, and that's going to be a pretty disappointing start for Clem after he had such a great start. He has disappointing follow-up. The Banshee across the map now, no detection, no anti-air, and SCV after SCV continues to go down. We're killing off Marines. I love that, because obviously killing off the Marines, it means there's not going to be any anti-air to fight this off. There is going to be a Viking who will just kite through to the left-hand side. We're going to get out of scan range while killing SCVs. And ByuN does bounce back to take map number 1 of this best of 5. Sorry, it's not a best of 3. I got caught up at the start of this game, didn't I? Our action, my friendies, as in the top left-hand corner, our Red Terran player taking the 1-0 lead from the Shopify Rebellion is ByuN. And the bottom right, our Blue Terran player is Team Liquid's Clem. Oh, yeah, Clem definitely got off to a decent start. Just 2 Reapers basically ended the game, right? Like, 2 Reapers put everything into disarray and basically allowed for ByuN just to step back into that. And yeah, I mean, that's just TvT in a nutshell. Sometimes a couple of the simplest units will turn a game on its head. Gotta be careful in TvT. You gotta keep your wits about you. Gotta keep your guard up pretty much all the time. Else things like that really do happen a lot more than you'd like them to. Guess he just kind of clammed up. Oh ho ho ho! We got jokers in the chat today, huh? We got comedy geniuses out here. That was a good one. Yeah, to be fair, it's easily done, right? I mean, we see a lot of TvTs where the couple Reapers break in, they get more workers than they should. I mean, it's one of those scenarios which you could have had this happen if you were just even in the game as well, right? It's just one of those things that sometimes you mess up on, you slip up a little bit. And yeah, it's rough, and yeah, you don't want that to happen, but again, sometimes you just... your control over that is... I mean, you obviously have control over it, but what I'm trying to say is that it's not exactly something which nobody... you know, it's not something that everyone defends perfectly 100% of the time. That's, again, one of the tough parts of TvT. CC on the natural as we come through. Just going to be seeing our Reaper moving off over to the right-hand side. As Clem not going to be expanding, so faster factory for Clem. And working forward from there. So faster CC from ByuN. And now Clem builds his own CC. So it is going to be Clem to kind of be a little bit more aggressive here. ByuN to be on defense. We'll see if Clem can find some of that damage he'll be looking for as we get this underway. They will both go into starport. A few seconds faster again from ByuN. That will be just a trait that continues throughout the entirety of this early game of Game 2 now then. That's just not something that will ever be changing. As the planetary morphs in. That's going to be seeing our couple starports. Going to be finishing up soon. One on either side. See what builds. Actually seen a bit of a difference here as well. ByuN going to go into the Hellions. When you go for the faster expansion, you feel like you need to be the defender. Reacted Hellions are typically a little bit better. Simply for the fact that Hellions can kind of stand up for themselves a bit more. And, like, you know, 4 Hellions are a bit more powerful than 4 Marines. It's a little bit more mineral heavy and they don't transition as well into the later game. But they definitely do very well at kind of catching you up and keeping you safe against the early game units that are likely to have come out from your opponents. So that's something we see a fair amount of as these couple of Hellions will be popping out. The Raven's still coming through. And yeah, there's going to be a Raven on either side, of course. Not surprising to see both players wanting to end up on some Raven play. We all know how good Ravens can be in the matchup, so yeah, just seeing even more of that here right now. Raven heads down the bottom side of the map and going to be heading towards the main base over the next few minutes to try and get something done. So it is going to be ByuN trying to be the aggressor. Yeah, this is a rich Vespene gas in this bottom side as well. I think Indy just stopping on that. I was like, oh, that's a rich Vespene base. It's like, it's easy to forget that on this map because we've not really seen a game go like super long on this map, which does come from the rush category, so it shouldn't be too surprising that the games have not been super extended on it or anything along those lines. As you see the initial little bit of pressure, I mean, with the Raven and the Cyclone here, you're never going to break through these Hellions. You're not really meant to break through, right? It's not one of those situations where it's like, oh, what a sick defense or anything. It's just, this is just kind of normal, so a lot more of just kind of what we expect to see at the moment. And well, now a little bit of Raven harassing to the base at least is going to be able to maybe get something done. And it just forces the SCVs back. Couple of workers going down. ByuN is the one that continues to take the lead in this game. Up 6 workers. He took the earlier base. Clem never really got much pressure onto him. And it's just going to be, again, from there, ByuN the one that's now just continuing to pressure himself. And Clem's not able to move across the map. So ByuN is just getting away with anything and everything that he wants to at the moment. I thank you, Hase, for the 34-month resub on the Prime. Thank you very, very much. Alright, well, as the army of ByuN continues across the other side here, we are going to be seeing Clem down in workers, down a bit of army supply. And for looking so good in the TvP initially in the first series of the day, he is struggling right now in this TvT. He just cannot seem to get anything going for himself, so having a real rough time of it, as we do see all the turrets now going down, and away we go. Big fight breaking out, and well, Clem is actually able to hold on. That's what he needs. ByuN became the aggressor. ByuN decided to commit in. One more tank at the end goes down, which is a bit of a shame, but very, very playable is, I think, the most noteworthy thing. It's a very, very playable situation, if nothing else, as we see ByuN pulling back to the upper left with everything else now, and the couple Vikings and the Raven coming along with that. Well, okay. I'm just going to be seeing ByuN falling back, and still holds a worker lead. While he didn't take the greatest of fights, you know, he does still have the advantage of being up in workers. That's not something that disappears because you take a bad fight, unless you have pulled SCVs with the fight or something, right? Which, obviously not the case. Couple Marines will come through, and that's going to be one Marine on this top side getting denied, so that's going to get picked off pretty much immediately. All these extra Marines setting up as well. Just going to be seeing a couple of depots also continuing in at the moment. So as Clem sets up, still just playing from behind, but I mean, behind is better than dead. And I know that's kind of a bit extreme, but I mean, he really was in a position to be in, you know, out of this game a few moments ago, and now he's still playing for the game, right? So a better situation than what it could have been, and Clem will just try and take this opportunity and turn it into something down the line, I'm sure. There's a good amount of potential of what is still to come. Especially in TvT, where the defenders have so much of an advantage a lot of the time as well. And we just saw it already with Clem kind of taking a step back in. But those fights are not uncommon to see. Fights which are very kind of, even back and forth and so on. And, a couple of Raven kind of casts can change everything. Well, this is a game where now Clem has 2 Ravens to the 1. So with 2 Ravens of spellcasting, he will be able to outmass any auto turret wars. He will be able to... outmass any auto turret wars. On top of that, he'll be able to have more matrices in a fight. He can break through siege positions much more easily. So those are all things which kind of do favor Clem just from having the Raven lead. It is really quite substantial. Raven lead, if you're going to have a lead in a TvT, I think the Raven lead's one of the best you can have, actually. It just gives you so much opportunity when it comes to fighting. Aggressively and defensively as well, right? It's not just like it's good offensively, it's like it's good in both situations of the game. Here, Clem is not going to have a good fight, though, and the auto turrets do not carry him at all, as he was maybe hoping for. That was, again, not pretty, and now we've got ourselves ByuN taking a 4th base out in position. So he's taking a 4th base out in position, and meanwhile, Clem is obviously reeling off the back of a fight, which again was just not good for him, and trying to give Clem I'm trying to give a bit of hype behind Clem's position and be like, yeah, you can do it, right? Don't count him out and all this. And then next fight, he immediately just falls down dead. And I'm just like, God damn it, Clem. I was rooting for you here. I had your back. I had your back. And now here we are. 2 medevacs and Marines will go boosting up the right-hand side. So this Marine tank army pressing forwards and just going to be seeing the CC on the right side, going to be forced to lift, so immediately again advantage to ByuN, who does have his own 4th base coming down, already mining, and this is just another way in which he will slow Clem down and push Clem into a worse and worse spot here in this map number 2, as he looks to take a 2-0 lead and set himself up very nicely in these quarterfinals, looking to advance through to tomorrow, where of course he will be looking to play the semi-finals if he wins here. More on that later as we see these Marines continue through. The medevacs lift up and they have to back away. I mean, Clem actually doing a little bit of damage with the counter drop, which is exactly what he needs. If he's ever going to get back in this, it's probably going to come from attacks where his opponent's army is not. And getting enough damage done that he can equalize the game somehow. I mean, this was a very good start. 13 SCVs going down. Problem is, Clem is still down a base, right? There's still a lot that Clem is missing here. He's still far off from, being in a really, really good position for a lot of reasons. And like I say, that will be one of the bigger problems of all. I'm just trying to hold on, trying to defend, but you can just see that he's not going to have enough, and he's not even going to try and keep it going there either. At the very end, he's just like, yeah, I'm dead here. I'm out of this. GG's. Finds himself down 2 to the blue Terran player in the top left corner of the map. From the Shopify Rebellion, give it up if you're cheering on ByuN to make it to the semi-finals. Looked good in his group, came out comfortably, and in first place, comes straight into the quarters and looking to win here to move into the semis and keep increasing that prize money. Is in the top right of Aftermath. Our red Terran player here is going to be Team Liquid's Clem. Well, definitely a matchup which has seen which I had a lot more hope for than what I've been seeing in so far, I suppose. Aftermath, a map which has been interesting. The acceleration zone addressed by the map maker. Again, this was not something which was designed to be an economy boost. This is something designed to make harassment even scarier, make harassment even better on these bases, and to mean that when you take these bases late in the game, the idea is that if you take these bases late in the game, it's when the game is scrappy and deadly, and it's going to boost the scrappiness and deadliness of those work attempts to kill workers, basically. So, yeah, that's the idea behind Aftermath. He actually made a big TL post about it. It was actually pretty cool. talked to me and mentioned how he's pretty new to map making as well. So listen to this. He said this is only his second attempt. His second attempt of making a map. And it made the finalists of TLMC, which is freaking an incredible effort, to be fair. It ain't easy, so yeah. Yeah, to be fair, I don't even think it's necessarily something that's wrong with the base. I thought maybe it's a cool idea that could have been just used a little bit earlier on a base that's taken early on the map. Obviously, again, the biggest problem might just be intuitively you think, oh, there's an acceleration zone on the base. That means it's trying to, it's trying to give me a boosted economy, right? So I don't even think it's the fault of the map maker. This is just the fault of what we expect to see if we see something on that base, right? Like if we see an acceleration zone, then we're like, oh, that speeds things up. That must speed up the mining. That must be the initial intention that we go to in our heads. So, anyways, get going. How has Sentry's Later looked so far? Sentry's Later's been fine. Been pretty standard, right? Nothing really crazy happened on the games that we've had on Sentry's Later, so it's been pretty, I don't want to say, yeah, it's just been fine, right? It's just given us some decent games. It's not been too crazy. I do think sometimes those maps are the best, right? They just give us decent games. They kind of just look solid, and yeah. And there's nothing crazy about them that makes them stand out and make you be like, oh yeah, remember that crazy moment on this map because of this part of the map? Yeah, it's just, I mean, it's a good sign of a map that can just work, you know? Despite having something a little bit different to it. Of course, voting is open, guys. If you'd like to vote on the maps, you can check it out on !maps in the chat. We'll give you the link to vote. So do you go put your votes in. And voting is only open for another 1 day and 18 hours, so vote soon or forever. Accept that the maps you didn't vote for will make the ladder instead. Okay? So get your votes in. I don't want to see anyone complain. If you didn't vote, you don't get to complain about the next set of ladder maps. That's the rules. ByuN coming across the map. He's looking to be the aggressor with this set of Hellions. Coming through, and they're going to look to try and jump on this base. I mean, there's 2 Reapers and 2 Hellions. He's going to jump on top of them. Didn't get good splash damage right away. Initially, his damage was kind of split up more than what I would imagine he would have liked it to be. He is still now trading out, but the Cyclone pops. And with the Cyclone popping, that will chase everything else here away. And for now, that will be about all they wrote. Raven is about halfway done. As we see, 7 SCVs going down for Clem in total. I mean, this is kind of a ridiculous amount of damage that gets done overall, right? It's definitely adding up to be something that Clem can't really continue to deal with. Going worse and worse for him here as he drops down by 8 workers in total already. I mean, this Raven looking to come back into play in the main base. That's the cause of a whole bunch of the damage so far. 7 workers dead, 2 came from the Raven. Banshee from Clem going to try and attack. Now, the single cloakless Banshee sometimes can be much deadlier than you think it would be, just because your opponent is not prepared for it, right? If someone's not in position, a Banshee can do damage pretty much, no matter the situation a lot of the time. Raven comes around the back, drops an auto turret in, couple of SCVs, taking some hits. 2 SCVs already going down, and just going to see the Banshee across the map, trying to make up some of this damage, but there is a Cyclone nearby, so it should never really find the damage it's looking for to get back into the game, right? Like, it'll find a little bit of something, but to bring us, like, right back into the game and all the rest of it, yeah, probably not, guys. Realistically speaking, probably not. Cyclone is just going to hang around and wait for the potential of the Raven coming back and say, are you going to come back to me? Are you? Yes? No? Maybe? Possibly? No? Oh, sad face. I'm just going to have to stay defensive. He doesn't really get much of a choice in this when the game's gone the way it has. Okay, just gotta accept the defense and maybe hoping that ByuN, I mean, very similar to the last game, right? ByuN just gets off to a lead, and with that lead, it's going to be Clem defending to try and hope that ByuN overcommits in, and that's where Clem can take a step back into the game, but it's going to be rough. Clem is going to be having a slightly faster +1 attack upgrade. Okay, really only slightly. That's not going to make a difference then. And ByuN is even going to start +1 armor, so now it's a ByuN upgrade lead potential in the game. Seems to get worse and worse, guys. It just seems to get worse and worse here. Well, the one good thing for Clem is the army supply is about even, so if he was to go across the map like soon, and if he was able to take a fight, maybe that's his opportunity. You can say obviously as well that these Ravens of ByuN are staying rather aggressive, which means as the Ravens come through and SCVs get pushed back, yeah, this is nice, but then if Clem does commit across the map and can take a fight where he's got a Raven advantage, but, I mean, he doesn't even have that. He only has one Raven, ByuN has 3, so he actually has 2 more Ravens with the army. And that means that that is just not going to go anywhere. Oh man, Clem really is just in complete and utter trouble here. There's not really a way out of it. Again, maybe just hold out for the game to progress to a much later state, but I mean, that's not something you want to just be admitting to doing, right? That's not something you want to have happen. Not a great day for Clem. I mean, great TvP to start the day, just the TvT is not being pretty. Let's see how tanks setting up, going to lift up and come through the top side. Marines are going to slip through, making their way to the top as well. Is just going to be seeing our tanks unloading and starting to siege. Ravens on the top side going to drop down a bunch of matrices. Marines will continue forward as well. And it's going to be GG, and ByuN is going to take 3-0 here and move on into the semi-finals. So 3-0 from ByuN into the